Robyn Brown just dropped a confession that nobody saw coming, and honestly, it changes everything we thought we knew about the sister wives' implosion. While the world assumed she was thriving as Cody's last woman standing, living her best life in that Flagstaff mansion, turns out she's been quietly suffering in a reality she never actually wanted. Being Cody's only wife? That wasn't the dream. That was never supposed to be the end game. And now, with the cameras rolling and emotions running high, Robyn's finally admitting the truth that's been eating her alive for years. Picture Cody's face when he hears this. The man who fought tooth and nail to keep Robyn happy, who chose her over and over again while his other marriages crumbled into dust, suddenly learning that his so-called favorite wife feels trapped in the very situation he created for her. The irony is almost too much to handle. This isn't just tea, this is an entire pot boiling over, scalding everyone in its path. Robyn married into the Brown family with stars in her eyes and a heart full of faith. She didn't sign up to be wife number 1 through 4, all rolled into one person. She wanted the sister-wife experience, the shared responsibilities, the spiritual fulfillment that comes from living plural marriage the way her religion taught her. That was the covenant she made, the life she envisioned, the future she was promised. And now she's stuck in a monogamous marriage she never chose, with a man who can't understand why she's not grateful for his undivided attention. The really wild part is how long she's kept this bottled up inside. While Christine was posting happy photos with David, while Janelle was building her farm dream in North Carolina, while Mary was finding herself again after years of rejection, Robyn was sitting in that massive house wondering how everything went so terribly wrong. She's been the villain in everyone's story for so long that nobody stopped to ask if maybe, just maybe, she was suffering too. And Cody, he's absolutely blindsided. The wife he moved mountains for, the woman he built an empire around, the relationship he sacrificed his entire family to protect, suddenly telling him she's not happy with the outcome, that she married him under completely different expectations, that his value to her might actually be diminished now that the plural marriage structure has collapsed. This isn't just a crack in their foundation, this is a full-blown earthquake threatening to swallow everything they have left. But here's where it gets even messier, because Robyn can see other polygamous families thriving. She watches families like the Dargers making it work, keeping everyone happy, maintaining that spiritual balance she craves. And it makes her wonder what could have been different, what Cody could have done better, whether this whole disaster was actually avoidable. Those thoughts are poison, and they're spreading through her marriage faster than anyone realizes. Robyn Brown didn't just stumble into polygamy. She chose it, she believed in it with every fiber of her being. This wasn't some arrangement she tolerated or accepted reluctantly. This was her calling, her spiritual path, the lifestyle she genuinely wanted to live. And now that it's gone, now that she's facing a monogamous future she never planned for, the devastation is hitting her harder than anyone imagined. This is a woman mourning the loss of her religious identity, and it's tearing her apart from the inside out. When Robyn married Cody back in 2010, she wasn't just joining a family, she was joining a movement, a belief system, a way of life that promised eternal rewards and earthly fulfillment. She looked at Mary, Christine, and Janelle and saw sisters. She saw a support network. She saw women who would help raise her kids and share the burdens of life. That's what plural marriage was supposed to offer. That beautiful, messy, complicated web of relationships that made everyone stronger together. But that vision crumbled so fast it left whiplash. Within just a few years of Robyn entering the family, everything started falling apart. Christine grew bitter and resentful, Janelle pulled away emotionally, Mary got trapped in that catfishing disaster and never recovered, and Robyn, she watched helplessly as the dream she'd married into disintegrated right before her eyes. The sister wives she thought she'd grow old with became strangers who blamed her for everything wrong in their lives. The spiritual crisis this has created for Robyn is massive. She made sacred covenants based on living plural marriage. She promised before God and her church that she would honor this lifestyle, embrace this calling, be faithful to this path. And now what? Now she's in a regular monogamous marriage like any other couple, and the religious significance of everything she believed in has evaporated. Does that mean her covenants are broken? Does that mean she failed? Does that mean her entire spiritual foundation was built on sand? Cody doesn't seem to grasp the depth of what Robyn's lost. He thinks she should be relieved. He thinks having him all to herself is some kind of prize, some reward for her loyalty through the chaos. But Robyn's not wired that way. She didn't want the prize of exclusive access to Cody Brown. She wanted the challenge and fulfillment fulfillment of sharing him with sister wives who understood the mission. She wanted that plural marriage experience, warts and all. And here's the really painful part. Robyn sees families like the Dargers thriving in polygamy. She sees Joe Darger managing multiple wives with grace and intention. She sees those women supporting each other, raising kids together, building something beautiful and functional. It proves the lifestyle can work. It proves the dream wasn't impossible, which means the failure of the Brown family wasn't about polygamy being broken. It was about Cody being broken. And that realization is haunting Robyn every single day. She married a man who couldn't deliver on the promise he made. Kody Brown genuinely thought he had won. After years of fighting, defending, and prioritizing Robyn above everyone else, he believed their relationship was solid gold. He thought she understood that he'd chosen her, that he'd sacrificed his other marriages to keep her safe and happy. So when Robyn finally opened up about her true feelings, about how being his only wife wasn't what she wanted, Kody's world tilted sideways. The confusion on his face said everything. This wasn't supposed to be her complaint. This was supposed to be her victory. The conversation between them reveals just how disconnected they've become. Kody's been operating under the assumption that Robyn was thriving in their monogamous setup. He thought she was relieved to have him all to herself, grateful that she didn't have to share anymore, happy to finally get the attention she deserved. But Robyn's been quietly drowning in a life she never signed up for, and Kody completely missed the signs. He was so busy patting himself on the back for keeping her that he never stopped to ask if this was actually what she wanted. And now he's spiraling. Because if Robyn's not happy, if she's questioning whether his value to her has diminished without the plural marriage structure, then what was all of this for? What was the point of the fighting, the defending, the choosing her over and over again? Kody's entire identity for the past few years has been wrapped up in being Robyn's protector, her champion, the man who wouldn't let anyone hurt her. But if she doesn't actually want this life with him, if she's mourning the loss of sister wives instead of celebrating their departure, then Kody's got nothing to stand on. The denial is strong though. Kody keeps trying to rationalize her feelings away. He tells her she's just adjusting, that she'll come around eventually, that monogamy will grow on her once she gives it a real chance. He points out all the drama she's escaped, all the jealousy and conflict that used to poison their daily lives. He reminds her how much easier everything is now without the constant sister-wife tension. But Robyn's not buying it. She knows what she's lost, and no amount of Kody's reassurance can replace the spiritual calling she feels slipping through her fingers. What really terrifies Kody is the possibility that Robyn might resent him, that she might look at him the same way Christine did toward the end, with disappointment and regret, that she might start wondering if she made a mistake marrying him, if she should have chosen a different polygamous family, if she wasted her best years on a man who couldn't keep his promises. Those thoughts are Kody's worst nightmare, and they're becoming more real every single day. But Kody's also stubborn. He's not ready to accept that maybe, just maybe, he's the problem, that maybe his favoritism and jealousy and poor management destroyed something Robyn actually valued. So instead of truly hearing her pain, he's deflecting, justifying, and hoping this is just a phase she'll grow out of. Spoiler alert, it's not. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather the mansion on the hill. That Flagstaff house, the one Robyn and Kody lived in for 5 years while everyone else struggled, became the physical symbol of everything wrong with the Brown family dynamic. It wasn't just a house. It was proof of favoritism, evidence of inequality, a daily reminder that Kody had chosen one wife over all the others. And now, even Kody himself admits it. He knows he stirred up jealousy by fighting so hard to keep Robyn safely housed in luxury while his other marriages burned to the ground. The timeline is absolutely damning. While Robyn was settling into her spacious 5-bedroom home with room for everyone to spread out, Christine was begging Kody to move back to Utah where she could be near family. Janelle was bouncing between rentals, never quite landing anywhere permanent. Mary was stuck in a house by herself, completely isolated from the family she'd helped build. And Kody? He was spending almost all his time at Robyn's place, making excuse after excuse for why he couldn't give the other wives equal attention. Robyn's now admitting that living in that house haunts her. Every room holds memories of the family falling apart. The kitchen where they had their last Thanksgiving together, back when the bitterness was just beginning to simmer. The living room where they celebrated their final Christmas as a somewhat united clan. The bedroom where Kody retreated night after night instead of going to see his other wives. That mansion isn't a home anymore. It's a tomb for the plural marriage dream Robyn actually wanted. But here's what really cuts deep. Cody's wives couldn't handle that he was willing to fight so much to make sure Robyn was safely kept. Those are his own words, and they reveal everything about where his priorities lay. He wasn't fighting for the family. He wasn't fighting for plural marriage. He was fighting for Robyn specifically, and everyone else could see it plain as day. That kind of blatant favoritism is poison in a plural marriage setup. It destroys trust, breeds resentment, and guarantees that the sister wives will turn on each other instead of supporting one another. Christine saw that mansion and knew she'd never get the same consideration. Janelle watched Cody prioritize Robyn's housing situation over Coyote Pass development and realized where she ranked. Mary understood that no matter what she did, she'd never be worth that kind of effort from Cody again. And Robyn, she was stuck in the middle, getting everything she supposedly wanted but losing the sister-wife relationships that actually mattered to her. The jealousy Cody created didn't just hurt Christine, Janelle, and Mary. It destroyed Robyn's chances of ever having the plural family she dreamed about. Now they're fleeing that house like it's cursed. Moving to a new place, trying to shake off the memories and start fresh. But you can't outrun the consequences of favoritism. You can't move away from the damage that's already been done. That mansion will always represent the moment Cody chose Robyn over everyone else. And ironically, it's the choice that's now suffocating her. Christine Brown finding her soulmate might have been the final nail in Robyn's plural marriage coffin. While the world celebrated Christine's happiness with David Woolley, while social media exploded with support for her new beginning, Robyn was quietly unraveling. Because Christine's joy wasn't just proof that leaving Cody was the right choice. It was proof that the Brown family could have been different, that plural marriage could have worked if Cody had been a different kind of man. And that realization is absolutely devastating for Robyn to process. Think about it from Robyn's perspective. She watched Christine spend years begging for crumbs of affection from Cody. She saw the loneliness, the rejection, the slow erosion of Christine's spirit. And part of Robyn probably thought Christine was being dramatic, that she was making things harder than they needed to be. But then Christine left, found David, and suddenly transformed into this glowing, radiant woman who couldn't stop smiling. The contrast is brutal. Christine didn't need therapy or time to heal. She just needed to get away from Cody. And that raises questions Robyn can't ignore. If Christine found happiness that quickly with someone else, was Cody really the problem all along? If David can make Christine feel cherished and prioritized without even trying, what does that say about Cody's capacity to love multiple women? Well, if one man can give Christine everything she needed in a monogamous relationship, why couldn't Cody give her a fraction of that while juggling 4 wives? The math isn't mathing, and Robyn knows it. But here's where it gets really twisted. Cody still can't say Christine's name without bitterness dripping from his voice. He talks about wanting to forget she existed, about being so angry he can't even communicate with her properly. He's stuck in victim mode, convinced Christine blindsided him with her aggressive exit. Meanwhile, Christine's living her best life, posting couple photos, going on adventures, building a future with a man who actually wants to be with her. The contrast between Cody's bitterness and Christine's joy is stark, and Robyn's noticing. Robyn's also watching Janelle thrive in North Carolina, surrounded by grandkids and building her farm dream. She's seeing Mary rediscover herself, traveling the world, creating a life that doesn't revolve around waiting for Cody's approval. All 3 of Cody's ex-wives are flourishing without him, and that's not a coincidence. They're not drowning in regret or struggling to move on. They're genuinely happier, lighter, more alive than they were in the Brown family. And Robyn's trapped in the wreckage, wondering what she's actually won. The irony is suffocating. Robyn got Cody all to herself, which is supposedly what everyone accused her of wanting all along. But now she's stuck in a marriage with a bitter, resentful man who can't let go of his anger, while his ex-wives are out there living their truth. Christine found her soulmate, Janelle found her peace, Mary found herself, and Robyn, she's finding out that winning Cody might have been the biggest loss of all. The sister wives she actually needed are gone forever, and there's no getting them back. The spiritual weight crushing Robyn Brown right now is something most people can't even comprehend. This isn't just about a failed marriage or a broken family. This is about sacred covenants, eternal promises, religious commitments that Robyn believed would define her forever. She didn't just marry Cody. She entered into a spiritual agreement to live plural marriage, to embrace that lifestyle as her path to salvation. And now that path has completely vanished, leaving Robyn in a terrifying limbo, where she doesn't know if her soul is still on track or if everything she believed in was a lie. In the faith Robyn grew up in, plural marriage isn't optional. It's not some lifestyle choice you can take or leave, it's a commandment. a requirement for reaching the highest levels of heaven. Women who live it faithfully are promised eternal glory. Women who reject it or fail at it, they're left wondering if they've forfeited their salvation. So when Robyn made her covenant to live plural marriage with Cody, she was making a promise to God, not just to her husband. And breaking that covenant, even if it's not her fault, feels like spiritual suicide. Robyn's now stuck asking herself impossible questions. Did she fail? Is this her punishment for something she did wrong? Should she have fought harder to keep Christine, Janelle, and Mary in the family? Could she have been a better sister wife, a better example, a better spiritual leader? The guilt is eating her alive because she genuinely believed in the principle. She wasn't faking her faith in polygamy. She truly wanted to make it work, and watching it crumble feels like a personal failure she can't escape. But there's an even darker question lurking beneath the surface. Has Cody's value to her diminished now that plural marriage is gone? Robyn married him because he was a polygamous man, a spiritual leader who could guide multiple women to salvation. That was his appeal. That was what made him special. But now he's just a regular monogamous husband, no different from millions of other men. And if that's all he is, if the plural marriage structure that gave their relationship meaning is gone, then what exactly is Robyn holding on to? Cody's noticed her struggling with this. He's admitted that he wonders if his value to Robyn has diminished without the other wives, and that's a terrifying thought for him, because it means Robyn might have married him for what he represented, not for who he actually is. It means their entire relationship might have been built on a foundation that no longer exists. It means Robyn might be staying with him out of obligation or fear rather than genuine love and desire. The covenant Robyn made was supposed to last for eternity. It was supposed to bind her to Cody and the other sister wives in a celestial family that would continue forever. But now that vision is shattered. The covenant is broken through no fault of her own, and she's left trying to figure out if a monogamous marriage with Cody Brown is enough to fulfill her spiritual destiny. Spoiler alert, she's not convinced it is. Behind closed doors, Robyn Brown is struggling with something nobody anticipated. She's having to learn how to be in a monogamous relationship at 45 years old after spending her entire adult life in plural marriage setups. And it turns out transitioning from sister wife to only wife is way harder than anyone realized. The dynamics are completely different. The expectations have shifted. The entire structure of her daily life has been turned upside down. And Robyn's drowning in the adjustment, even though she's supposed to be celebrating. The reality is brutal. Robyn and Cody have become battle buddies instead of lovers. They've spent the last few years moving, packing, fighting legal battles, dealing with family drama, and managing the fallout from 3 divorces. There's been no romance, no getaway, no time to actually nurture their relationship. They've been in survival mode for so long that they've forgotten how to just be a couple. And now that they're finally alone together, they're realizing they don't actually know how to do this. Cody's trying to lighten the mood by flirting with Robyn, making jokes about his pheromones, peacocking around her like some ridiculous bird trying to get attention. But Robyn's not playing along. She's uncomfortable with public displays of affection, hesitant to respond to his advances, still stuck in that plural marriage mindset where you don't show affection in front of others. Cody thinks it's cute, thinks she just needs time to adjust. But the truth is deeper and darker than he realizes. Robyn doesn't know how to be the only focus of Cody's attention because she never wanted to be. There's this massive culture shift happening that neither of them prepared for. In plural marriage, you get breaks from your husband. You have sister wives to share the emotional labor, the daily grind, the constant demands of marriage. You're never solely responsible for keeping one man happy because he's got other wives to fulfill different needs. But in monogamy, Robyn's it. She's the only one Cody comes home to, the only one he vents to, the only one who has to deal with his moods and emotions and needs, and it's suffocating her. The irony is almost funny if it wasn't so tragic. Everyone assumed Robyn wanted this. The internet convinced itself that she'd orchestrated the family's destruction specifically to get Cody all to herself. But watching her struggle with the reality of monogamy proves that narrative was completely wrong. Robyn's not thriving. She's barely surviving. She's faking happiness while privately mourning the plural marriage life she genuinely loved. Cody's convinced that once Robyn gets comfortable with monogamy, she'll start slapping his butt in shopping malls and flirting back with enthusiasm. He thinks this is just an adjustment period, a temporary awkwardness that will fade with time. But Robyn knows better. She knows that no amount of time is going to make her prefer this setup. She married into polygamy on purpose. She chose that life deliberately, and now she's trapped in the exact opposite situation, pretending to be grateful while secretly wondering how much longer she can keep up the charade. The smile she's wearing for the cameras, it's getting harder to maintain every single day. Walking through that Flagstaff mansion one last time, Robyn and Cody are drowning in memories they'd rather forget. Every corner of that house tells a story of loss, betrayal, and family destruction. The dining room where they shared their last Thanksgiving together, tension already thick in the air. The living room where Christmas became a painful reminder of who was missing. The kitchen where arguments erupted and relationships shattered beyond repair. That house isn't just a building. It's a monument to everything that went wrong, and they can't pack up fast enough. Cody admits it plainly. This house haunts him. Every single day he drives past Christine's old place, past Coyote Pass, past all the locations that remind him of when his family was intact. The emotional poison seeping through these walls is unbearable. He describes it as this toxic presence that ruins every present moment because the past is always lurking, always whispering about what used to be. The bitterness, the anger, the regret, it's all trapped in these rooms like ghosts that won't leave them alone. Robyn feels it even deeper. She knows this house symbolizes the jealousy that destroyed their family. While she was living here in comfort, Christine was begging to move to Utah. While she had 5 bedrooms and space to breathe, Janelle was bouncing between temporary rentals. While she enjoyed stability and security, Mary was isolated and alone. The inequality was staggering, and Robyn sees now how that massive imbalance poisoned everything. This house wasn't a blessing. It was a curse disguised as a favor. The prayer Cody says as they're leaving is heartbreaking in its honesty. He thanks God for the memories, calls the house their haven and safety from the outside world, but then admits he stirred up jealousy by putting Robyn here. He acknowledges that his wives couldn't handle how hard he fought to keep Robyn safely housed. Those words hang in the air like a confession he should have made years ago. He knew what he was doing. He knew the favoritism was destroying his family. And he did it anyway because protecting Robyn mattered more than keeping everyone else. But moving to a new house isn't going to fix what's broken. You can't outrun memories. You can't escape consequences by changing your address. The damage Cody caused by prioritizing Robyn's housing over family unity is permanent. Christine's gone, Janelle's gone, Mary's gone, and no amount of fresh starts or new beginnings will bring them back. That Flagstaff mansion will always represent the moment Cody chose one wife over the others, and the ripple effects of that choice will haunt him and Robyn forever. Robyn's hoping that getting away from that house will help them move forward, that maybe in a new space they can build something fresh without the weight of the past crushing them. But deep down, she knows better. The house isn't the problem. The favoritism isn't the problem. Cody's inability to love multiple women equally was the problem. And that problem followed them out the door and into whatever comes next. No new house can fix a broken man. Joe Darger's name keeps coming up in Robyn's conversations, and it's driving a wedge between her and Cody that neither of them wants to acknowledge. Joe Darger represents everything Cody failed to be. He's a polygamous man who actually makes it work, who keeps his wives happy, who manages multiple relationships with grace and intention. And every time Robyn mentions the Darger family, it's like she's holding up a mirror to Cody's face, showing him exactly where he fell short. The comparison is brutal, and Cody knows it. The Darger family isn't just surviving polygamy, they're thriving in it. Joe's wives support each other, raise kids together, build businesses as a team. They've created this functional, beautiful, plural marriage that proves the lifestyle can work when the husband knows what he's doing, and that's the knife that twists in Cody's gut. Because if Joe Darger can make it work, if his wives are genuinely happy and fulfilled, then the Brown family's failure isn't about polygamy being impossible. It's about Cody being incapable. Robyn's read the Darger's book. She's studied their family dynamic. She sees how Joe prioritizes all his wives equally, how he makes intentional choices to ensure nobody feels left out or less important. Joe Darger is an architect, carefully planning and building his family with purpose and vision. Meanwhile, Cody was a fireman, constantly putting out fires and rescuing whoever was screaming the loudest at any given moment. One approach creates stability, the other creates chaos. Guess which one Cody chose? The really painful part for Robyn is realizing that Joe's wives were set up for success from the beginning. They came from the same culture, understood plural marriage from similar perspectives, were even related to each other. They had a foundation of shared values and expectations that made cooperation possible. But the Brown wives, they came from different backgrounds, had different ideas about how polygamy should work, never quite aligned on the vision. Cody brought women together without ensuring they were compatible, then acted shocked when they couldn't get along. Cody's defensive about the Darger comparison. He admits Joe had advantages he didn't have. He points out that the Darger wives were culturally homogeneous while his wives were all over the map. But those excuses ring hollow because Cody was the one who chose his wives. He was the one who decided to marry women with conflicting values and expectations. He was the one who failed to create a cohesive family culture. Joe Darger didn't have magic powers. He just had better judgment and stronger leadership skills. What kills Robyn inside is knowing it could have been different. If Cody had been more like Joe, if he'd prioritized fairness over favoritism, if he'd been devoted to every wife instead of just her, maybe Christine would still be here. Maybe Janelle wouldn't have given up. Maybe Mary could have healed. The Brown family didn't have to fail. It failed because Cody failed. And Robyn stuck living with a man who proved he wasn't good enough at the one thing she actually wanted him to be good at. That realization haunts her every single day. So here's where Robyn Brown stands right now, staring down a future she never chose and never wanted. She's tied to a man who can't give her the plural marriage she craved. She's living a monogamous life that feels like a betrayal of her spiritual calling. She's watching her former sister wives thrive without Cody while she's stuck wondering if she made the biggest mistake of her life. And the worst part? There's no easy way out. She can't go back in time and undo the family's destruction. She can't resurrect the plural marriage dream. She's just stuck. The bitterness between Robyn and Cody is becoming more obvious every day. They're both angry about how things turned out, both mourning what they lost, both struggling to find meaning in their current situation. Cody's bitter about Christine leaving so aggressively. Robyn's bitter about losing the sister wives she actually valued. Neither of them can fully move forward because they're too busy looking backward at what could have been, and that's no foundation for a healthy marriage. Robyn's also dealing with the reality that Cody might never change. He's still angry at Christine years after their divorce. He still can't say her name without venom. He's still playing the victim instead of taking responsibility for his role in the family's collapse. And if Cody can't evolve, can't learn from his mistakes, can't become the man Robyn needed him to be, then what exactly is her future with him going to look like? More of the same? More bitterness and resentment disguised as marital bliss? More pretending to be happy while dying inside? The moving to a new house symbolizes their desperate attempt to start fresh, to leave behind the poison of the past and build something new. But you can't build a future on a foundation of favoritism and failure. You can't create happiness by running away from your mistakes. Robyn knows this. She's not naive. She understands that changing locations doesn't change the fundamental problems in their relationship. Cody's still the same man who destroyed 3 marriages through his own poor choices, and she's still the woman who lost everything she actually wanted when those marriages ended. What's really eating at Robyn is the question of whether she'll ever truly accept this life. Can she make peace with monogamy when her soul craves plural marriage? Can she find fulfillment with just Cody when she wanted a whole family? Can she let go of the sister-wife relationships she valued and learn to be content as his only partner? Right now, the answer seems to be no. She's struggling, she's mourning, she's questioning everything. And Cody's too caught up in his own bitterness to even notice how much she's suffering. The future stretches ahead of them, uncertain and unstable. Robyn never wanted this life. She never asked to be Cody's only wife. She never dreamed of a world where Christine, Janelle, and Mary were gone, and she was left picking up the pieces alone. But that's her reality now. And whether she can survive it, whether she can find joy in it, whether she can make peace with the hand she's been dealt, remains to be seen. One thing's certain though, the woman who walked into the Brown family 13 years ago believing in plural marriage is gone. And whoever Robyn becomes next, she's being born in the ashes of a dream that burned to the ground.